So let me ask you an important question for this next week. Who are you caring for the most this week?
Mindset Monday. Your week begins now.
Now, you've got tons of people that are probably around you that rely on you and that you have to care for. You got to care for your family, maybe your children, maybe you're caring for aged parents, maybe you're caring for a relative, maybe you're caring for your employees, your coworkers, maybe you're caring for someone in your church or your community organization. Who are you caring for the most? The answer? It should be you. It really should be you. You should be caring for yourself first. Now, this is a little counterintuitive to what society tells us. Society likes to tell you don't care for anybody else, don't care for yourself because you have to be busy caring for everybody else. And that's a bit of a myth. You need to care for you first. And there is the age-old, very corny cliche from the airlines, and every time you're on a plane, they always say, in the event that the oxygen mask drops down, put yours on first before you help anybody else. And that is so true in life. If you don't have the energy, the vitality, the stamina, the courage, the conviction to walk out of your front door in the morning, walk out into the world charged, poised, ready to give, then you can't. If you are discouraged, defeated, beat down, feel like there's no hope in the world, you're really not going to be much good to anybody else. You're actually going to become a drain on them. They're going to require to care for you. And that's okay. We all go through ups and downs in life. But generally speaking, if you're caring for yourself, then you can start moving into creating renewable, sustainable energy. So I teach people how to create work-life harmony, but real, lasting, sustainable work-life harmony so that they can have a real abundant life at work and they can have an abundant life in their personal ambitions and endeavors and what they're doing, and they make the two work together so that they harmonize versus the myth of being in balance. And so there's 3 areas that we want to work at this week to create renewal energy for you. So the first area is your mind. Your mind needs to be emptied and filled on a daily basis. We talked about a journaling process that we can use to empty our minds and problem solve and do all that kind of good stuff. But you also need a process to recharge your mind. So how do you do that? Okay, well, the first one is we can do journaling. And it's as simple as following the 21-day journaling process that we laid out and start getting into that. The second thing that you can do is you can read. Reading is an investment into your mind. When you put quality things into your mind, you will get a rate of return greater than the cost of the book or greater than the cost of the audio program you might be listening to or greater than the cost of the course that you invested yourself into. It always comes back 5 to 10 times greater than the cost of the time and the money that you put into it. There's such a powerful process of putting good things into your mind. The next thing that you also want to do to empty and renew your mind is have good conversations with people. And so this actually might mean that you have a professional conversation on something of a professional nature. You might be exercising leadership, you might be coaching, you might be training somebody, and that's great. You might be having a professional conversation on how to grow your business or solve a problem or make a better, more efficient business for yourself. But then you might also have a personal conversation. And this would be sharing your greatest joys, sharing your greatest frustrations. And it might be with somebody as your family or your friends. It could be a personal, professional context where you have a coaching relationship where you're moving through and you're working on plans and things like that. Or you might have some counseling or some therapy help to get you through some tougher times. Whatever it is, you can do all 3 things. And when you engage in each of these acts, you will start creating a renewing mindset. Your mindset will strengthen, you'll get stronger, and you'll be able to accomplish more things. The next energy system that we have to work through is creating renewable energy in your body. Yes, your body. Your body is made of energy. From my martial training in Aikido, a lot of it is energy management. So I'm taking an angry person that's attacking me with a physical strike or a kick or whatever it is, and I'm shifting their energy and I'm moving their energy physically. And then I employ a little bit of geometry and a little bit of angles and things like that. And a small person can defeat a big person if they know how to do it. So we want to help your body create renewable energy. And how do you do that? Well, the first two things that you do is you nourish your body. So you nourish your body with the highest octane fuel you can put in your body. You wouldn't drive your brand new $100,000 car up to the fuel station and ask for, give me 80 grade sludge and pour sludge into the tank. You just wouldn't. And everybody would agree with me on that. But why do we do that in our bodies? Why do we put the equivalent of sludge into our bodies? Well, because there's an emotional disconnection there. Because maybe you're not aware that the fuel, the things you put in your mouth, is fuel for your body. And if you looked at food as fuel versus food as a source of enjoyment and pleasure, that one shift can change it all for you. When you start looking and evaluating, is what I'm putting in my mouth right now fuel or is it an enjoyable pleasure? Now, I'm not saying that all of us have to, drink a pale colored smoothie drink with all the essential vitamins and nutrients and drink that down 3 of those a day and you're nutritionally covered. There's a lot of great things that come from sharing an exquisite meal or having a beautiful dessert. Timing and everything is important, but generally speaking, 80% of your time you should be putting high quality fuel into your body. The next thing that you want to do is you want to be nourishing your body with hydration. And so the amount of water, the quality of water that you're putting through your body, what kind of beverages are you drinking? A few years ago, I went from caffeine, which I was never really a big caffeine drinker, and I went cold turkey, no caffeine. And it was surprising how many things contain caffeine in today. Caffeine is in our food, it's in our drinks, it's everywhere. And I used to have a problem where I would get up at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning and I'd either feel hungry or dehydrated or whatever. And it was because the caffeine was acting as a diuretic and it was actually sapping my energy. So once I went caffeine free, I slept better. No more getting up in the middle of the night, no more feeling that way. It was an amazing transition. So what are you going to do this week to nourish your body with the food that you eat and the water that you drink? I encourage you, incremental progress. Maybe think about a 10% change. So how can I improve 10% of the meals I eat? Well, if you eat 5 meals a day, then you want to increase a half a meal. So when one half of the meal, you might substitute out the chips and the cookies and you might eat an apple. There's your substitution. How can I increase 10% of my fluid intake with 10% more water? Okay, well, maybe it's 1 extra cup of water that you got to drink. Everybody can do that. Okay, the next part of your body is movement. So what are you doing to move your body? So for some people, this is breath power, and movement creates breath power. So what I mean by this is a lot of times we breathe very shallow breath during the day. And then you get a little excited about something, positive, negative, and you start breathing faster and more shallow. Well, that doesn't really give the oxygen a chance to run through your body and oxygenate the cells in your body and do all that kind of good stuff. So what I encourage you to do is think about how you can move your body more. Something as simple as a 15 or 20 minute walk at the fastest speed you can go, that can get your body moving. It can energize you, it can get you breathing deeper. Some people engage in meditation or yoga or specific breathing processes. One little trick that I learned years ago from this scientist was he was saying that when you take a deep breath and you take the breath into your stomach or your diaphragm and you hold it for a minute, that process starts cleansing your cells with oxygen. And then you do a slow exhalation. It's like a detoxification. Now, everything that I'm telling you here today, you have to measure it against your personal plan, where you're at, what your doctor, your nutritionist, your healthcare provider would say. So just make sure you're covering yourself that way and you're not starting something that might be horrendous for you. But most of these things will be very beneficial for you. So what can you do to breathe and move? For some people, it's the physical energy that they create through exercise. Strength training, cardio training are two things that everybody needs. As we get older, our strength starts diminishing unless we put an obstacle in its way, i.e., lifting a weight or taking a yoga class or doing body weight programming or join a martial art or something like that. You have to put specific tension on your body in order for your body to keep staying strong. And I have very many senseis in Aikido who are in their 70s to 87 years old who can move better than I can on the mats because they've never stopped the practice and they've just kept working on the practice. And 75, 90, or 75 and 87 years old, their bodies are still moving amazing on the mats because they keep strengthening their body. They keep forcing it to move and work for them. So the next thing that you want to be thinking about, and this is a most underrated topic, is sleep. The science of sleep that is coming forth, and we know how to get a better quality sleep. And I bet for under $50, you can improve your quality of sleep today by going and buying a new pillow. When was the last time you upgraded the pillow that you lay your neck and your head on? There are thousands of choices of pillows out there right now, and you can get into different pillows that will work for your particular needs that can help you have a better sleep. You can assess, do you change your bedding depending on the season? Do you rotate your mattress on a regular basis? Do you maybe need to buy a new mattress? I mean, we have no problem investing hundreds and thousands of dollars into technological gadgets and things. But when was the last time you bought yourself a new bed and did that? So it's interesting. Upgrade your sleep. Make sure the room you're in is cool. Make sure it's quiet. Make sure if you need a sleeping mask to block out the light, great. Get new blinds, great. Create a schedule of consistency for your sleep. So the thing that you might want to do this week is think about improving the time you go to bed. Everybody has a different rhythm for themselves, but think about improving that rhythm for yourself. Okay, so that's sleep. It's a real critical one. And then what you want to then think about after that is the 5-minute challenge. So the 5-minute challenge is this. How can I work on getting 5 extra minutes of sleep over the next 7 days? So I set my alarm clock for 6 a.m. in the morning. Tomorrow I set my alarm clock for 6:05. The next day 6:10, 6:15, 6:20, 6:25, 6:30. At the end of the week, you will have had an extra 30 minutes of sleep, but it compounds over the week. So it's a few extra hours of sleep that you get that week. That cannot do anything negative for you, but help you. And eventually you start saying, well, Shane, I have to get up by 6. Okay. Start going to bed 5 minutes earlier so you can reverse the challenge. Okay. If I have a hard start that I got to be up by 6 to get the morning routine running, go to bed 5 minutes earlier every night for the week. You can work both ways. And at the end of the day, if you go to bed 5 minutes earlier and get up 5 minutes later, that's 10 minutes extra sleep. Everybody can fit that in. It will do wonders for you. The next energy and the currency that you need to work on is your spiritual energy. Now, I'll make the caveat. There's lots of us on the call. There's lots of us here in the training today. We all come from probably different spiritual philosophies, disciplines. That's okay. One of the things that you might want to do is you might want to pray more. And prayer has been linked to be just as effective as the journaling because you're having a conversation with your God. You're having a conversation with a spiritual force that's greater than you. If praying is not for you, then I encourage you to figure out how can you love more. Now, love is a doing thing. It's a verb. Love is meant to be done. And I'm not talking about intimate romantic love. I'm talking about care and attention for people. So how can you love a family member? How can you do something good for somebody that demonstrates your love for them? How can you help a coworker who's maybe going through a tough time? Maybe just listening to them for 5 or 10 minutes is an act of love. Maybe forgiving a coworker for being a little extra grouchy because you know they're dealing with a real specific tough life situation. Maybe you can love them a little more that way. Maybe you can go and say, hey, can I buy you a coffee today? You can love people in many, many different ways, regardless of spiritual or religious affiliation. The next thing is community. How can you be a part of the community around you? You can contribute. You can love somebody and you can contribute to your community around you. So you may be a part of some community organization. You might be part of a church. You might be part of a community organization, Rotary, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. There's all sorts of organizations out there. When you contribute your time and your energy and your finances, you improve both their mission and you improve yourself as well. And I guarantee you and I challenge you that if you incorporate at least one of these things this week into your life, you will create more spiritual energy. And so at the end of the day, it creates sustainability. It creates personal vibrancy. It creates personal focus, confidence, and it creates more productive effectiveness for you personally. So this week, when you're going out, I ask you, how can you recharge and create new energy mentally? Are you going to improve the fuel you put in your body? Are you going to improve the hydration levels that you're operating at? Are you going to breathe more this week? Are you going to move your body a little more than you moved it last week? Maybe move your body in a new way that you haven't normally moved it. Are you going to get a better night's sleep? Are you going to get more rest so that you feel more rested and more vital as you move into that day? And how are you going to be a part of your community? How are you going to love people and contribute to society as a whole?